everyone? I'm back with my review on Bleach Chapter 47, Breathe But Blind. I just want to take this time to say I'm sorry for taking a 2-week break and not reviewing Chapter 46. I just felt like nothing really happened, and the whole Chojuro having a Bankai, I just want to call shenanigans on that, because that kind of pissed me off, and nothing else really happened besides that, and I had other things going on. But anyway, let's get on to this week's chapter. So it starts out with everyone arriving in Hueco Mundo. They see that there's nothing left but dead Rancor bodies and hollows, and it starts getting really depressing when Pesce starts talking about how Rancor are being killed or abducted by the Vanderreich. But Ichigo decides enough talk and goes off to rescue them. Then we see Urahara and Chad start discussing how Ichigo is basically going to save the guys that he saw as his enemies just months ago. But Chad says it's just the kind of guy Ichigo is to do something like this and help out someone that he saw as his enemy before. And they decide to follow him and help find the Rancor. Cut to the supervisor of this Hueco Mundo roundup, Kurge Opai. I'm really horrible at pronouncing these new names, so I'm just going to call him the supervisor from now on. He starts to tell the capture that he's going to hold a selection tournament, which means basically he's going to go around and kill all of them unless they lick his boots and confess that they will join his army. He proceeds to kill a bunch of them until 2 strike back, revealing to be Lolly and Menoli. The supervisor is quick to disarm them because they're both extremely weak, as we've seen in the past, but he keeps them alive due to their guts that they had to rebel against him. As he has his men collected to, he badmouths Aizen and Halibel and basically calls them worthless. When he's attacked once again, his comrades appear to be killed by these attacks, but he stops it, and it turns out he was attacked by Halibel's Fractions, Sun, Mila Rose, and Apache, who are sporting some new looks with their masks and outfits, and that's the end of the chapter. This was a pretty good chapter, much better than last week's. I thought it was extremely dark, though, for Bleach. I mean, you see there's dead bodies sprawled out across Hueco Mundo. The supervisor is going around humiliating the Rancor and killing them, all while appearing to just not really give a shit. And Kubo is obviously trying to make these guys a huge threat, even bigger than Aizen. And this is clear in this chapter by showing how cruel they can be. I'm still not convinced. Besides the king, they seem pretty weak, and we still don't really know what their powers are, so I'm not really convinced. And it also just seems like each week they start to become similar to the Nazi regime, this Vanderreich. And I'm not a fan of that, but I guess Kubo likes the idea of comparing them to that. My only complaint is, where the hell is Grimmjow? I thought for sure he was going to show up this chapter. I thought both times when the supervisor was attacked it was going to be him. But instead we get the people that no one really cares about, especially me. I can't really stand any of the characters that return this chapter. I think he's got to show up by the end of the next chapter or the one after that. I mean, Grimmjow is just my favorite Espada, so I'm getting really antsy for his return. And I know that when he does return, he's going to make it look really badass. Well, that's it. Simple, but overall, pretty decent chapter. I'll be back next week for 488. Alright, peace everybody.